Hey everybody, Claire here, and today I have the amazing Kate. She is one of my wedding planners from Beau and Arrow Events. Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here.
I know, this is great. We're talking about all things weddings today, and today I wanted to hear your quick tips, your top 5 for brides in need.
Yes. So definitely I would say number 1 is hire a professional photographer. There's some places where you can have a friend help you out, but photography is not one of them.
Yes. I'm just going to put a giant underline and an exclamation point behind that as a photographer. Because I've actually shot weddings for friends, and I would describe myself as professional. Like, I am paid money to take photos of things. And even for me, who I'm not a wedding photographer, but I'm a professional photographer.
It's a different
It
experience.
is a stressful, you need to make sure that you need to have someone who has a process, and they have 3 locations that they keep their hard drives. Because I've had friends who used not professional photographers, and then the person's kid knocked over the hard drive and they literally lost all their wedding photos.
No one wants that, because exactly, that was my point too, is that's all you have at the end of the day, is those photos to look back on. So you want to make sure you have them first, and that they're quality
and
photos.
a contract in place and the whole thing.
Yes. Number 2 would be make sure that your venue matches your vision. So it's gonna be really hard if you pick a venue that has a bunch of blue and maybe some kind of beachy elements, but you hate blue, or you don't want an ocean themed wedding. So definitely you don't want to have to fight against your venue. You want to work with it, and you want to build off of that. Your budget's going to go up, and it's just not going to be ultimately what you're wanting if your venue doesn't match your aesthetic.
That's a fantastic point, because I remember when we were looking, Craig and I got married in a venue that had a very Spanish hacienda vibe to it. So it's bougainvillea everywhere, and it's gorgeous, and I love hacienda vibes, so that was very much sort of my thing. But they were telling us how the people who run the venue, that someone the week before was trying to turn it into an English rose garden.
Right.
And it's what are you doing? That's gonna be so expensive, having to truck in roses, having to give it a completely different look. And if you find a venue that already feels art directed, you've just saved yourself thousands of dollars, because you don't have to spend as much money on rentals, on flowers, on filling in those visual gaps.
Totally. Number 3 would be make sure when you send your save the dates out, you also plan on inviting that person. I don't think there's anything more embarrassing than sending out save the dates, and then when you reevaluate your guest list, not sending them an invitation. So don't do that.
Oh man, that totally did not. That's one of the reasons why we did not send out save the dates, because I do not trust myself.
Still up in the air.
Oh my goodness. Well, and I guess this is the other thing I'd say is double check your RSVP list for people who said no versus people who just simply haven't responded.
Very true.
Because that happens.
It's a difference.
There's a difference. Because we had some people roll up who had not RSVP'd officially, but had told my mom they were coming, but then that didn't get messaged to me. So we had to shuffle some seats around for them last minute. And so yeah, there's a difference between a no and a
just didn't respond at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say number 4 is have your hair and makeup professionally done. You want to feel your absolute best, and in order to do that, you have to look your best.
Yes.
So it's really important that you have someone there putting makeup on you, doing your hair, so you don't have to worry about it. 1, you don't want to stress out doing your own hair and makeup, but 2, it's totally different when you have photography on you, kind of washing you out. So even for natural brides, it's really important that you get your hair and makeup done.
Definitely. Well, and also, if you, for some reason, don't 100% like the way you look, do you really want to have a friend to blame for that? No. You'd rather keep that to the professional. Yes. And the nice thing, too, is with the professional, they always do a sort of first look with you. So they'll do they'll do the full makeup and the full hair, talk to you about it, break it down about a month ahead of time. And that just gives everyone a really clear sense of exactly what expectations are on the day.
Number 5 would be making sure you don't take on too crazy of a DIY project or too many DIY projects. It's definitely a great idea, and it can be a lot of fun, but we've also seen it turn out the opposite way, where it doesn't get completed, and then it just turns out that you spent so much time, energy, money on it, and it's just total waste.
Oh my.
Unfortunately.
Well, I feel like with the DIY projects, what people don't understand is that it's sort of the equivalent of getting a really cool vintage couch and saying to yourself, I'm gonna reupholster it. This couch is only $300. And then they don't realize that the cost of upholstering it well and the fabric and whatever, it's the exact same price as a couch that you would buy in a store.
So true.
But it looks exactly how you want it, and it's yours, and it's one of a kind. So that's what the premium's for. However, it's a lot more effort and ends up costing the same in the end. So like for me, it was, I knew my one DIY thing I wanted to really focus my attention on was the party favors, which, you know, were...
Turned out so cute.
Thank you. But that was because it was something pretty doable. Like it was a DIY old-fashioned kit. So I spent a year sourcing vintage tumblers. I designed letterpress coasters. I did little bottles with handmade labels and stuff like that. But that's just like some labels, that's just some ink, it's a little bit of time, it's not like that crazy.
But even then, it's like not every bride would have the dedication to spend, you know, a year sourcing the tumblers. That's something that interests you, so it's definitely good, you know, to do something that's realistic for what you're able to accomplish.
Exactly, but then again, it was a year of my life sourcing tumblers, so I was a crazy person on eBay. So it's sort of like, do you want to be dedicating that much time? And I mean, just really think about the cost, because it is expensive. It always ends up being expensive in the end.
Because you have to buy all the materials, you don't already have them usually.
Totally. And here's the other thing to remember. It will look DIY. Like, I just know that.
Unless you are actually an artist or like a woodsman or woods crafter.
If your fiance is a carpenter, great, lucky you. That's fantastic. But like, that's not true for most of us. And so, like, I mean, you usually end up, if you like the DIY aesthetic, awesome. But don't see something and go, oh, well, maybe I could just make that. And it's gonna look handmade.
Right, and that's another one of the evils of Pinterest.
Yes, is that it's a professional art director.
Who's doing the DIY.
Who has a prop department and does this professionally. So yeah, no, oh my gosh, that is an awesome tip. Because I feel like everyone gets a little bridal crazy and they're like, maybe I'll just do all of it. And it's like, no, calm down, don't do it.
We can kind of usually tell which brides we trust to DIY and which ones we're like, maybe don't.
Well, like my sister did her own napkin rings, which were insane. They were amazing, but that's because she is a jewelry designer, and so she just talked to her plater and, you know, designed it, and they turned out amazing, and everyone stole them. You know, which she did not anticipate, but it makes sense.
How can you blame them?
I know, so yeah. And it's like, for me, my skill set's graphic design, so that's why it was all like printed matter. So yeah, find something you know you're good at and that is a completely achievable goal that doesn't require too much time and effort, because you will be focused on other things. That is an awesome tip. Oh my gosh. Well, all of them were great.
Good. I'm glad I can help.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. And remember,
thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, remember, for all of your wedding needs, please check out bowandarrowevents.com. Kate is amazing and her team is the best. You guys were the reason why Craig and I immediately were like, yes, please. Yes, these girls. was because you guys are super cute and sweet. You've got great style. But you also are really DL nerdy. Like the fact that like your back end on your website is hilarious. Like they are so, like Craig's a management consultant and they use the same like interface that he uses for like organization. And
it's good to hear.
No, it's so, he's like, I like them a lot. And I'm like, okay. I was like, nerds unite. It's great. No, so it's that perfect blend of like style, substance, organization, like all the things you look for in a wedding planner.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it was so great chatting with you guys. Please, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to hear more tips from the lovely Kate, make sure to put them below in the comments. Otherwise, talk to you guys later. Bye.